Namaste and welcome to Let's Talk Tomorrow, episode 4 of season 1. This podcast is going to be different than how we have been doing earlier, as in this will be like a review. If you guys remember, we did a podcast on Windows 11, and unfortunately, I did not get it, but Rishabh did. So we'll be questioning him what's his experience on Windows 11. So yeah, Rishabh, how are you?
Yes, I'm doing great, Sajal. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
So how's the Windows 11?
It's been a great experience so far, honestly speaking. Like, I'll just give you my point of view on Windows 11 since it has come. My laptop working time has increased for sure. Just the
Wow.
UI, and after upgrading to SSD, it's even better. So, yeah,
True.
it has completely changed my laptop use time now. It has increased actually.
That's great to hear because that's one problem that I had seen when I was going through the blogs that people were telling that their performance has reduced, the speed is less, but since you have like you have upgraded your system with SSD, that problem should have gone. So even after that, do you feel any sluggishness somewhere or there?
Uh, Look, as you know, I had HDD for a really long time, and
Yeah.
we have gone through the issues from Windows 10 itself. Was in, it used to get stuck on the login screen. The boot time used to be about 10, 15, 20 seconds.
True.
Using heavy softwares on Windows 10 with the HDD was really, really, you know, and we were used to that patience level. But after upgrading to the SSD, the Windows 10 also felt smooth because, of course, it's SSD and it has really good read and write time.
Of course.
So, as far as performance is concerned, I didn't get a lot of time comparing them because right after getting my SSD in about 2 to 3 weeks, I got the upgrade for Windows 11. Right?
Hmm.
But comparatively, within the usage of 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say Windows 11 is a little better, but only after a week or a week and a half of getting the upgrade. I'm telling that because if you have a fresh Windows 11 that is upgraded from Windows 10, you will still have a little bit of problems because it will be
Okay.
a fresh update. But
Hmm.
Microsoft has made sure that in the further upgrades that you get right after Windows 11, you get 4, 5, 6 updates back to back to back on almost every single day. And those
Hmm.
upgrades will actually improve the performance of your computer.
Wow.
Boot
Okay.
time for Windows 11 on SSD is way better than the Windows 10. It just opens up instantly.
That's
So
amazing.
exactly. So I would say the performance, again, I haven't tested for a really long time, so it won't be any conclusive, but comparatively, I feel Windows 11 does perform better on Windows 10. And if you have a SSD, then it's just a dream combination of SSD and Windows 11. It's just amazing.
Wow, that's a real appreciation of Windows 11 then. Or shall I be telling it's SSD?
SSD, you could tell it to be SSD.
So can I say after getting SSD, your patience level would have reduced? If you get HDD now, you'll be like banging your system.
You never know. I mean, of course, we all are gamers and we go through, game rage or whatever it is called as. So yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example of, we recently downloaded the F1 game, both of us, and we started playing. And it's really annoying how much time it took in our hard disk to
Oh,
open and,
really?
respond properly. It used to lag for the first few laps that we used to do, whether it be the practice session or the qualifying. And
Yes.
yeah, it led to so many, it just frustration because you're doing nothing wrong. It's just because your computer is lagging, you're ending up crashing. And then, but yeah, after getting SSD, it it just opens up instantly and I haven't faced any lag. So if you have SSD, then I'm not sure why you're still hesitant to get Windows 11. But even on SSD, it would work pretty smooth. But again, your high-end applications will not work that well because you have hard disk, and Windows 11 is a heavy, I can say, a system software, and it takes a lot of performance out of your hard disk as well.
Well, I have an SSD, but it's my bad luck that I cannot get Windows 11.
You have an
That's
old laptop. There's nothing much
yeah.
we can
It's my buddy. It has become my life partner.
do. It's a 7-year relationship. I guess you bought it in
Exactly.
2014 and now it's 2021 and it's running pretty smoothly, and you have run some really heavy softwares on that.
Oh, very,
You know,
very. I have done a
After
lot of
Effects,
stuff.
yes, After Effects, Adobe. What else is there? Premiere Pro,
All
Android
Adobe
Studio.
software, all the games that
Yeah,
everyone was saying that it won't work in my system, but apparently my
you
buddy
still
ran
do.
everything. But talking about games, how have the game experience improved? You talked about F1. Have you tried any other games which you feel that it might not have worked properly in Windows 10 or other versions, and it's working better over here?
Yes, I had issues with GTA 4 as well as GTA 5 in the primary installation on Windows 10.
Okay.
And if I use the same file, the same download file that I had downloaded on Windows 10, I am no longer having the same issues on Windows 11. The installation is smooth and it runs well as well. So what happened with GTA 4 was the installation happened, but it used to get stuck on the loading screen, like forever loading. It keeps on loading,
Mm-hmm.
loading, loading again.
Oh,
And
it's a
I
nightmare.
wasn't sure why that happened.
Okay.
Maybe it would have been because of some junk files on my Windows 10, but again, the same. I'm no longer seeing the same problem on Windows 11.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Mm,
Yes,
what can
and
I say?
speaking about gaming, Microsoft Store, the revamp of Microsoft Store is just amazing. There are different specific. I mean, moving on further in the podcast, I will actually share my screen and show you what I'm talking about. But the revamp of Microsoft Store has emphasized the gaming part. Whether it be Forza or mobile games like Gardenscapes, Homescapes, or even Candy Crush that was there. Not just that, other platform games as well is over here. As you know, we are getting Android applications soon. But
Mhm.
yeah, talking about gaming, the Microsoft Store revamp and all the other problems that I used to have in Windows 10 is definitely improved, and it's been resolved in Windows 11. So I can say the gaming is being improved. And yes, look, first off, Windows 11 is only for the computers that are already high end, right? It requires you to have an 8 GB of RAM. It
True.
requires you to have a 64-bit CPU. It requires you to have DirectX 12 or plus, if I'm not wrong. And then there is
Yeah.
TMP 2.0 as well. So if all these things are already there on your hardware, and I'm not sure if Windows 11 will make a difference. Any game should actually run pretty fine, whether it be on 10 or 11.
Oh, that's great. So to all the gamers who are listening to this, you won't face any issues.
Yeah, you won't.
So talking about Microsoft Store, how's the layout of entire Windows 7 to be
Uh,
specific?
like, do you want me to speak in general about Windows 11 or specifically about Microsoft Store?
Specifically about Windows 11.
All right. So, first off, it is entirely a MacBook kind of experience, you can say, Mac-like interfaces, because they
Mhm.
have revamped all the icons, all the
Okay.
system icons, whether it be folder icons or a notepad icon or basically anything, from your pictures, videos, my PC, and so on. So icons look amazing, and all of them are flat icons, which
Okay.
enhances the theme that Windows 11 is going with. That is of mostly of glass morphism, but kind of opaque, translucent kind of theme that they are going with. So I'd say like it more Mac-like interface is amazing because you have rounded corners as well, and the entire taskbar icons is now center aligned. So that
Okay.
is pretty great. Another
Uh-huh.
thing I would like to talk about is widgets, right? So right now, there are a lot. I won't say a lot of widgets, but whatever widgets we have right now is all from the Microsoft itself.
Okay.
Like it be the weather or Microsoft To Do, or there are photos that is connected with you, and basically the MSN news that you get,
Mhm.
Microsoft News,
Yeah.
that follows after that. So what I would like to see more by Windows 11 over here is one thing is they should give us third-party widgets
Okay.
so that developers like Spotify or even CoinMarketCap or other developers, they come up with icons for Windows, sorry, widgets for Windows 11 that you can just snap it onto your wallpaper so that you don't have to open them again and again. Right.
Oh, I see.
Another thing,
Yeah.
widgets, you can't drag and drop it on your desktop. It In order to see your
As
widgets,
in they
you
are fixed.
actually have to open the widgets panel and see everything over there. So that is
Oh, it's like
one
that.
thing that it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, if widgets are there, Like even Windows 7, we had widgets where you could play a game or see the time, but that was snappable onto the wallpaper. Over
True.
here, you can't snap anything on the wallpaper. It will stay in the widgets section. And we have already spoken about gaming as well. So we have Xbox integrated with Microsoft. So all the
Yeah.
Xbox games will come here, and
Mhm.
integrated Android apps. Microsoft has spoken a lot about integrating Android apps on Windows 11, but right now, none of the Windows 11 releases have any Android app. In order to do so, they are collaborating with Amazon, and Amazon App Store will actually be providing you these Android applications. So basically speaking, you'll have to go to your Microsoft Store first, download
Uh-huh.
Amazon App Market, and then download the Android applications, which is uh, okay
Mhm.
because they are kind of integrating it. But at the same time, it would have been better if they had considered user experience in mind as well, so that we don't have to download an additional application just in order to use it.
So if you
And
have to rate UX over here, how much would you rate?
mhm. Could you repeat
If you
that?
would have to rate UX, how much would
Yes.
you rate on the scale of 10?
For someone who has been using Windows 10 and then transition into 11, I'd say 9, or I'd say 8.5, a good 8.5 out of 10. But if you're someone who is transitioning from Windows 7 or Windows 8 to Windows 10, then you would really have to go with a 2, 3, 4 days of really diving deep into the computer and seeing what is where. Because first off, there are not a lot of changes from Windows 10 to 11, but considering your older operating systems, it will be really hard for you. It will be a steep learning curve. But
Okay.
again, saying not a lot of changes, but uh, there are places here and there. Like I said, Microsoft Store, even your settings panel is completely changed, like completely changed. The UI is crazy over
True.
there. So in order to understand that, you will have you'll have to go through a bit of hustle, but yeah, it'll be fine once that is done. And I was also talking about the snapping options that you get on Windows 11, right?
Yeah.
So if you hover over your what is this called? The maximize icon on the top, the
Uh-huh.
place where you minimize your tab
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
close your tab, the one in the middle. So if you hover over it, you'll be able to see the snapping options that that you get from basically that you get from Windows 11. I'll just share my screen and show you what I'm talking about.
Sure.
So just give me 1 second. And for the people who are actually listening to it and not watching, I'll explain you what I'm doing on my screen right now. So just let me know if my screen is visible to you.
Yes, it's visible.
Right. So this is something that I was talking about. Here you can close, here you can minimize, but if you hover over here, you'll see these four snapping options that you get. Right. So if you have multiple
Snapping bricks that we talked
applications,
about.
uh-huh.
Snapping bricks that we talk about, different windows
Yes,
we can face in these orders.
exactly. So
Nice.
if you hover over it and if you have two or more applications behind this particular screen, then it will get snapped automatically into these selected layouts, right? And I also spoke to you about the icons that they have used over here. So the entire revamp of icons is being done even in the taskbar. If you see, the entire taskbar is now center aligned. Also talking about Microsoft Store, if I just open it over here, I'll just drag and drop it over here. There you go. So this is entirely revamped now, right? So you have your library over here where you can see what all the apps that you have downloaded and where you can update it from. But at the same time, you have this good, really nice carousel, which has, I'd say, micro interactions. If you can, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it properly, but if I hover over this section, it gets a bit lighter, right? The color
Yeah,
gets a
it's
bit lighter.
visible actually.
Yes.
Really good.
Huh. And then you have different places. Now there are different sections for apps, and then there are different sections for gaming. This
Mhm.
is really cool because first off, in the previous Microsoft 10 my store, if you see, everything was cluttered inside of one place. But now you
Yeah.
have a different section for home, the apps, and the gaming. So this is really good. So the entire revamp of this section is amazing. And as you can see, the icons that they are going with over here, the flat icons, they go
Yeah.
really well with the theme that they are having right now, that is the opaque theme. So those were some of the really, really nice changes that I saw in Windows 11. And yeah.
Yeah, that's actually good. It's a different look and feel how you see in Windows 10 and Windows 11. In Windows 7,
Mhm.
everything is like properly organized. You can go to these sections. You won't have to explore more or search more. It's right there.
Yes, exactly.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, Tisha, you were actually mentioning about the widget. So
Yes.
when I was going through the problems on
Mhm.
a blog site, it was mentioned that blogs board or sorry, widgets board actually looks empty. And when someone actually wants to go through a widget, if they say,
Mhm.
access it, it's slower, as in it takes time to open and something like that. So have you faced
Uh,
that issue or
yes,
something
I
like that?
had faced that issue. That was right at the beginning when I had actually installed Windows 11. So
Okay.
that could be because the OS wasn't loaded properly. It was a fresh installation because at that time I wasn't even able to access my start menu. So I just left it for a while, and about 2 to 3 minutes later, I was able to access other places. But this particular widget section that particular user is talking about, that
Mhm.
was true. So if I click on my widget section now, it gets loaded up properly. But again, the if your internet is slow, widgets might not even load up, or it might load up really slow, but if you don't have internet, widgets might not even load up because most of the widgets, if you see over here, is connected to your Microsoft account itself. The
True.
photos section might load up, but the weather, like on my widget section, I have the T20 World Cup widget, or basically the cricket news widget, the weather
You are
widget.
a cricket fan, so
Yes. So the cricket news widget, the weather, the basic stocks going up and high, and the
Mhm.
to do. So the to do and the photos might load up, but the stocks, the cricket widget, and the weather widget might not load up if you have, or if you don't have an internet connection, if you have a slow internet connection. And
I
right now, the widget section is actually, cluttered with, I can say combined with your MSN news section. So the
see.
widget comes first, and when you start scrolling down, then you can see the top headlines of from the Microsoft store. Sorry, the Microsoft News. So that is
I see.
something that I don't understand. If you want to have a widget section, just keep it different and just make it snappable so that it is on the desktop rather than clicking on that particular widget section.
Let's
And
hope Microsoft hears this and does that.
yeah, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. And I don't understand why you have news and headlines, on the inside of the widget section. A section for a widget is separate. I don't know why they have cluttered it with the news. So yeah, maybe that issue would have been found at the earlier stage of Windows 11 when it started to roll out, but I have seen a couple of documents or basically the known issues for Windows 11, that a page that is controlled by Microsoft where all the issues and their status is given. Over there,
Mhm.
it had clearly mentioned that the new rollouts for Windows 11 might have some problems, but moving on forward, as I said, a couple of updates and that might get resolved as well. So there are only a couple of known options right now that hasn't resolved, but most of the issues are actually completely resolved in the updates coming further.
I see. So, talking about the internet, as you mentioned that widgets might be not loading because of internet speed. So have you
Hmm.
faced any internet performance, as in, was it better in Windows 10 or it's better in Windows 11 or vice versa?
Honestly, I don't see I don't feel any difference, because internet is something that is given by your internet service provider. Right?
Yeah.
So if it depends upon your service provider, if you have a good connection, it'll run well. If not, it won't. But internet performance, I haven't faced any difference. Even after seeing the speed test, it was quite same or quite similar. And
Mhm.
yeah, honestly speaking, I didn't have any internet issues, and neither do I see any on the known issues that the Microsoft has right now regarding internet.
Okay, so the user needs to get a better internet connection.
Yeah, if that is their issue, then probably it is from the service provider and not from Microsoft, because your hardware, because Windows 11, it of course it is a system software, so it might get access to your hardware as well. But Wi-Fi card is not something that an operating system can access. Even if they do access, I'm not sure if they will fiddle with it or anything. Just for the UI interaction, it might improve. Yeah.
That's nice. So we don't have any internet problems. Guys,
No.
whoever are listening, just get a better connection. That's the
Yes.
best option for you.
Yes.
So coming to the next problem, I saw a lot of problems based on start menu. It was like currently in Windows 11 you have all the icons in middle, right? So
Yes.
there was a concern from a user, like many people want it on the left side or say right side. So is it changeable? Can you change it?
Yes, you actually can. You have to go to your settings and go to preferences, basically the personalization section. And within the personalization section, you have to find out where the taskbar settings is. And inside of the taskbar settings, if you go to advanced options, you will see a option called as taskbar icons alignment. You can align it to left or center depending upon how you want to use it. So it
I
is
see.
pretty amazing. But again, if you're only talking about icons, yes, they can be left aligned and center aligned. But if you know that we had options of, moving the entire taskbar to the right hand side or the upper part or the left hand side, right?
Yeah.
That cannot be done in Windows 11. It has been removed. So the taskbar will always stay on the bottom of your screen now. The
Mhm.
options of moving the taskbar to the right, left, or up, basically all the four sides have been removed. Only one side is left, that is the traditional bottom side, which is quite good as well because people actually went crazy with that, snapping their taskbar to the rights and lefts, cluttering with icon. I just didn't understand that. Why should
Exactly.
you do it?
And
Taskbar
if
is
I'm
supposed
not
to be
wrong,
in the
it came
bottom.
with Windows 7, if I'm not wrong. And once it
Uh,
did, I used to like, if I used to go to my school or
yeah.
friend's house, I used to
Hmm.
see different layouts. I use it below, but if I go to school, it's up. Some systems it's left. So it was, sometimes it was annoying. Like, why are you
Exactly.
changing it?
Quite confusing as well, but yeah. So that is one good thing or a good change you can say from the taskbar perspective.
So is it only the taskbar or the windows as well? As in only the taskbar has been locked, made stationary below, or is it the windows as well? Because if I'm not wrong, there's a shortcut called Control Alt, and using any arrow key, you can alternate the desktop, as in how it looks. Either you can switch it up, left, or right. So is that also locked?
Are you talking about different desktops that we have on like changing
No.
between the desktops?
No, not changing between the desktops. Like
Mhm.
currently, your how you'll be seeing your desktop is horizontal, right? I mean vertical,
Yes.
top to down, and it's properly aligned, everything. But
Mhm.
sometimes screen also can be rotated,
Oh,
like
like,
90
oh,
degrees or
okay,
80
okay, got it,
degrees.
got it, got it. Let me just quickly check that because again, that is something that I might not do. That is only for the people who are really, really paranoid. I mean, why do you want to change the orientation of your screen? So yes, you can change it to landscape flipped, portrait, and portrait flipped. So there are all the four options where you can change it to 90 degrees, 180, 270, and 360 as well. There are
I see.
options of doing that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So, well, about the start menu, there was one more question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is a problem that even I faced, but not in Windows 11 because I don't have it. In Windows 10, in earlier days, once I used to start, that search icon. If I
Yes,
click
yes,
on start button and start typing to search anything, it
yes.
doesn't used to come on the first time. I used to like, press again, then open again, then again it used to come on the second time. So does the problem still persist?
You'll be very happy to hear that the problem is no longer there and you no longer have a different button for the start menu and different button for the search. You can, it is there, but you can disable it because your Windows button will only do everything, right? So if you just,
That's
I'll just share my
nice.
screen and tell you what I'm talking about. Um,
Uh-huh.
Let me know if my screen is visible again. I'll just start sharing. Is it visible?
It is.
All right. So again, this is the known issue space that I was talking about from Microsoft. We'll talk about this in a while as well. So if you
Uh-huh.
see over here, I don't have any search icon. I have only one icon, right? I can access it by keyboard using the Windows key, or I can access it in just by clicking on it, right? There you go.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
over here itself, you get a search option where you can search for anything that is either on the web or on your
Okay.
system.
Ooh, that's nice.
So again, and I haven't had any issues with it. I just click on this and I just search for anything like, for example, Microsoft Store or everything over here, and even documents over here. So even web, you can filter it out over here if you can see on the top. If it's a particular document or a web or an application, or even in the more section, you have different settings as well. So searching has actually become way more easier than it was in Windows 10.
Oh, to hear. And regarding that, I see that it's really responsive, but there was a concern from one user that when he upgraded, his start menu wasn't responsive at all. So has it
Again,
become responsive over time, or was it not responsive in the earlier days, or it was from the earlier?
again, I can only think about it that it was right at the beginning as soon as they installed Windows 11, and
Mm-hmm.
probably they might have disabled the further updates or they have paused the further updates, because the very fresh Windows 11 that you get is like the basic version of Windows 11 that was released right at the beginning. So if you don't have your updates on at that time, it might stay in that particular version itself, and the problem might still persist that your start menu is not opening up, or your widgets is not opening up, or some of the applications might not run properly. So again, for the Windows 11 users out there, if you're having the same issues, or even for the people who are thinking of shifting to Windows 11, once
Yeah.
the Windows 11 or the fresh copy of Windows 11 gets downloaded, make sure that you check for updates again and again moving on forward for at least 3 or 4 days. Because I got back to back, I'd say for at least 5 or 6 days, updates again and again and again. And right now I'm not having any more updates, and I don't face any of the problems, honestly speaking, that you have just mentioned, whether it be start menu or widgets. Yes, I had this particular problem right at the beginning when I hadn't installed any of the updates. But as you can see over here, if my screen is already visible, so I can actually show it to you. This was one of the questions that you had asked, right, about the Intel Smart Sound technology as well.
Yeah, that's
Moving
one
on
of the
forward.
compatibility issue that people face.
Yes. So if you see over here, you have the options, or the basically the information about the origination update, update the status, and what was the last update on this one. So most of the things that you said are over here, mentioned over here, snipping tool, whether it be snipping tool, connections to printers and so on. And if you see in the status, most of them are either resolved or mitigated. Mitigated, the basic matlab of mitigated over here, or the basic meaning, sorry, I went to a bit of Hindi over there. So the basic meaning of mitigated over here is that the issue has been reduced on a lot of computers. May not be on the computers that are it is going to be rolled on, but whatever the computers are there, whatever the major build versions are there, because you can see your OS build version as well over here. It has been originated from this particular build version, and
Yeah.
let's say if it said mitigated over here, which means that the versions in and around this particular version has been resolved, and more will get resolved with time. So all of them are being resolved over here. So all you need to do is just update your Windows 11 and you'll be pretty much good to go. I'm pretty sure about that.
I see. That's good to hear. Okay, my last question is regarding one of the problems is snipping tool, and I'm pretty sure you faced it. I heard that you did.
Yes, yes, yes. So I have a solution for this as well for the people who are not, getting it. Of course, one of the solutions would be to wait for the updates to roll out, and as soon as the updates came, my issue got resolved quite easily, right? So the problem was, as UI UX designers, we use a lot of snipping tool for getting screenshots from here and there. So Windows Shift S wasn't working. And one of the issue was that your Windows Shift S shortcut will no longer work. So that was a pretty downside for it. But luckily, the Windows Shift S option actually works after the update. And let's say if you haven't gotten any update still, and you're still waiting for the update, and your snipping tool is no longer working, you can actually go to your Windows folder, the Windows C folder. Okay, wait, my screen is not shared, right? So I'll just share my screen again and tell you what I'm talking about. So right now I'm on my this PC, and if I open my local disk C, okay, wait. Guess what? I guess the Windows old folder is deleted. Yes, it is deleted.
Okay, that happened after the update, or
After the update.
I
Right.
see.
So basically what I was talking about is, as soon as you get the update, you will have two folders for Windows. One would be
Okay.
Windows and just this Windows that you're seeing, and another one would be Windows, and in the brackets it will be old. So Windows old folder. So if you go to the Windows old folder and search for System 32, and inside of System 32, you can actually search for snipping tool, right? So snipping tool will be downloaded and that will be actually Windows 10's snipping tool that you can also use on Windows 11. And not just for snipping tool, you can actually use Windows 10, any app from Windows 10 that is actually misbehaving in Windows 11 from that particular Windows.old folder. But one thing, don't be a fool like me, just save it somewhere else as well, or else it will get deleted after the updates.
I see.
But yeah, luckily once the updates roll out, these issues will get resolved. Sorry, I interrupted.
So overall conclusion that I have got from this conversation is most of the problems anyone is facing, it will get resolved from the updates that they'll get. All they need
Yes,
to do is just enable the automatic updates and their problem would be done.
yes, yes.
Okay.
For some systems, it might take sooner. For some systems, it might not even take updates. For some systems, it might take a little bit more time. But
For some systems, they might even not get it.
yes, one thing you need to make sure know is that even if it takes long time or small amount of time, it will happen only after the update. So just keep your updates on, enable the updates, and everything would be good to go. And whatever issue you're having, just please don't go through these YouTube videos where they say resolving this particular issue and going to your PowerShell, installing things from your system. Just don't do that, because wait for the updates. These are all known issues by Microsoft and they are working on it. So it's better to wait for Microsoft to resolve these issues and give you update officially instead of going and tweaking with your system, because you might end up losing a lot of your files.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so lastly, I just want to ask you this, that is Windows 11 worth it?
Personal experience and personal point of view, yes. Because first off, it is the UI revamp that they have is very professional. It looks amazing, it works amazing, and you get a lot of new Microsoft apps for free that you won't find in Windows 10. And even if you find it on Windows 10, you might have to pay for it. So with the Windows 11, if you have a professional account or a home account, there are a lot of things that you get it for free. Of course, there are trial versions, but extended period of trial versions, whether it be Microsoft To Do, Microsoft Teams. Again, Teams is something that this might be another option or another thing that why people are not, downloading Windows 11 even up they get the update. They think that Skype, if Skype is their primary communication, they might shift to Windows or Microsoft Teams and they might not get Skype. But you can actually disable Microsoft Teams and Skype will still be there with the same credentials and login options. So you don't have to worry about any apps getting deleted, any system applications or system credentials getting deleted. Everything will be the same that you have on your hard disk. Only thing will be changed is a couple of tweaks here and there, and that's it. And yeah, as to actually conclude it, I think it is worth it, and I think you should have a little bit of patience of 1 or 2 weeks after getting Windows 11. If you're having some issues, it will automatically get resolved. Yes.
I see. So let's end this podcast by saying, these were the problems that were there, and this was the live review by the person who's actually using Windows 11. So take his tips and consider whether or not you want to go for Windows 11 or not.
Yes. Right. So that was a brief, or I'd say a deep down discussion on or the review on Windows 11 after getting the download. So if you guys haven't watched our previous podcast on Windows 11, it will be somewhere in the description. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to us. This was episode 4 of season 1 of Let's Talk Tomorrow. I'm Rishabh Vats, joined by Sajal Bhardwaj. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Bye.